Alrighty, hi everybody. Welcome to the recap stream. Some of us did in fact slay the spire this week on the NOBMOGUS seed. If you were one of those people, congratulations. Wet and I were also first seed of the week win on board, and hopefully not the last. Emily says, busy day at work, may not participate much, but will probably be half listening. Well, I hope your day is a good one, and thanks for the half listen at the very least. I think you got a win on this one, and if so, congrats. Most of our not dork laws are... I'm not even going to read the rest of that sentence out loud because it does not merit that fact. Wet. Yeah, fun decks all around. And thank you for the follow, Emily. And yeah, I forget who said this. It was someone on Discord, I believe. But it was like, this is a seed that had a lot of strong pieces to it, but at the same time didn't feel free. Right? It's like you actually had to like work to use all of the strong pieces effectively, and I think the ultimate win rate was around 50-50. Amid do be clicked rather often. Oh, you can't see my cursor with a... Did I not? Ah! Fuck. God, no, shut up. Technology. That was the wrong thing to click. This is the thing I wanted to click. It says capture cursor. What the hell? Okay, whatever. It's not capturing my cursor. I don't know why. Technology is garbage, but yeah. Strong pieces, you still do have to use them. Pretty much everybody clicked amid. I think Boot is the only one who didn't and still won after a boss swap. I think that's just the one. Yeah, 1 and 1. Amid, yep, amid. There's not much more that needs to be said. I do think that also merits pointing out with the overall like percent stuff down here. I think we all know that statistics lied, despite constantly memeing to the opposite. But this is a good example of statistic lying. Of Runic Pyramid shows up at the end of Act 1, and it has a lower win rate than Cursed Key when you look at it on the chart, only by a little bit. But that's also because basically everybody clicked amid here, and so the people who got to the point of clicking Cursed Key were already more likely to win because they didn't die throughout Act 2. So just in general, it's a good example of take these stats with a grain of salt or two when you see them on any given week. Amid is good. Factual facts. Become 7 people on Reddit. Book, are you back on the Sozu's free energy train? I saw your run submission comment last week. Not this one, but the one before, taking back everything good you have ever said about Sozu. I don't know if you can untake backsies that, but I wish you luck if you decide to try. Yeah. I don't know that there's a ton to be said here, really, because it's amid... not a great seed for swapping unless you are Boot and just decide to swap on every seed of the week seed just because that's fun. Black Star, if you're doing the all of the relics in the entire world archetype with digging a billion times and also Black Star, I hope that was fun. There were some very large relic numbers this run, unsurprisingly. But on average, yeah, Curse Key did perform a bit better, which, unsurprising, I'm pretty sure there was an Omamori in this one, wasn't there? Or no, it was Duvu. Duvu was the, oh no, don't give me more curses with my Duvu doll. I would hate all of that free strength. No. Whatever shall we do? And Periapt. Yeah, true. So yeah, not Dork Team Relics Doug. 0. It's true. We were on Team Key the Shovel, and I stand by that, honestly. Like, the shovel stuff, it's goofy, it's fun, but we had a lot of high-pry upgrades to get to, And, can Asuki explain why she clicks Scrapooze but keys Shovel? Because dopamine gotten go burr, and, I have a problem. Does that explanation suffice? But no, I like clicking it at least once. It is dopamine. Yeah, honestly, it's just one of those little things for me that I just kind of decide I like clicking Scrapooze. But Shovel feels like more of a legitimate fork decision point. GG gamers, good GG Magnell. Go to bed soon. Get good sleep. This VOD will exist later. Yeah, very happy with all of the upgrades I took, says Flintlock. I can't remember your run well enough to know if that's sarcasm or not, but yeah, I can check in a minute. Yeah, it seems like about 50-50 win rate on shovel keys. I still stand by ours. I think it was right. You were serious? Yeah. And I'm serious on ours too. I think it was the right call for our run, at least, with, you know, the place that we were in. We had a bunch of high pry upgrades that we wanted to get to. You know, resting can be good on Clad as well, like face tanking a lot of the time, and then resting back up is a legitimate strategy. And, you know, shovel, it's like you're behind by one when you get it immediately. If you have to give up a rest site just to get back the relic that you would have gotten if it wasn't shovel in the first place, so you have to dig twice or more to get any kind of value out of it. And it wasn't early shovel, to be fair, so there was plenty of time to gain value out of it, but there's also plenty of time to gain value by upgrading. So Chaos saying key shovel about 80% of the time, was my best unkeyed shovel in yonks. I imagine a yonk is a pretty darn long time, and it seems like that for a lot of people. Emily took shovel, figured if I felt forced to take something like hammer, it could soften the blow. Also fair, understandable. You know, it's the same kind of logic of if you see an Arma Plus somewhere on, of like, you know, oh, this makes hammer much freer than it otherwise would be. I feel like hammer is generally a good relic on Clad, even if you don't see those kinds of things. So it's like, you know, playing to the low roll sometimes, but yeah. There were certainly some big dig numbers this seed of, look at that freaking relic counts of like averaging 22 relics in the middle there. Maxing out, 2 people got 31. Who's the other one? I know Byron was one. Dazed Lurker also coming in at 31 relics. Congrats to you two on the big numbers. Who lost with 30? Poliel, and I believe that was a loss to the heart, if I recall correctly. Oh, it wasn't. It was to Tim. Dang. So yeah, would have been 31 if Poliel made it to Act 4. Possibly even 32 if you dug at the last rest site. Shame. Tim is a jerk like that. And yeah, I was looking at Psycho's run when I was filling out the winning decks sheet. It was over the first Reaper. I didn't know that part. Or is it here? But yeah, it's double limit break plus here for scaling when the only strength sources are the 1 strength Duvudal, no extra curses added to the deck, and there's a flex plus that you can sometimes keep around with Panacea. And I'm pretty sure that was it. Oh yeah, souvenir as well to catch flex strength. And Red Skull, everybody had Red Skull. Right. But yeah, just doing the compounding thing without a crazy amount of base strength and no inflames or spot weakness or anything like that to smooth that over. Whole run was like the meme of the little girl on the teacup ride, freaking out, enjoying it, and nearly puking, going crazy with excitement. Verge of death until I wasn't. Back to verge of death. Rinse and repeat. So most unusual cards. I put a little note on this cell. So the numbers here are the number of times it was included in the winning decks versus losing decks, and it just pulls out cards that showed up in less than 25% of winning decks. So most people did not have those cards. And that was the formulas are freaking arcane nonsense of evil. Where did I hid the formula bar? Yeah, don't ask me how that works. I literally already forget. If I ever need to change it, I will die. But it works. Let's put that back, give ourselves a little more room here to see other things. I can zoom in a bit. But yeah, it's just cards that don't show up very often in winning decks. So I figured it'd be interesting to highlight, like, what did you do kind of differently or oddly that most people didn't. The 25% cutoff is pretty arbitrary, but whatever. Silent cards don't show up very often in winning decks. It's true. It's an interesting point. Very interesting point. Yeah. One thing I did actually want to call out here. So first of all, shout outs to Boot for doing the groupings this week. My brain just kind of ran out of juice by the time I got to that point. I'm like, I can't figure out how to group these damn things. And I think the like having a bucket for corruption is totally reasonable on this one. Most decks didn't go for it. But I do remember about our run, the Not Dork one, we had a corruption, but a lot of the time it wasn't actually doing that much. I don't think Wet even mentioned it in the description that we put down here. Of a lot of the time, it was just sort of get exhausted by second wind and then keep doing what we're already doing. Yeah, it's a hallway card. It's a hallway card, and it did its thing in hallways enough. And in the fights that mattered, it went away pretty quickly. And then we had a deck that didn't do that much. But yeah, I actually had to double check of like, did we even have a corruption this week? I don't remember. Granted, it was also a week ago that the run happened, so I don't remember much. But yeah, did not feel like the centerpiece of a deck in quite the same way that a lot of like run defining corruptions can. It seems like a lot of people just sort of snowballed it forward. Cold Year's block deck. I think you had like Barricade and wait, you didn't have a body slam. Okay. That's, yeah. You yell at him. Feel free. I mean, that's, oh, it never even played. How would you describe yours? I can, yeah, Act 2 was rough. That's true. We did have a bumpy ride in Act 2, and I feel like a lot of people did. So yeah, just the, like, scaling with the limit break here. Limit break, exhume, digging for red skull. Oh yeah, it's souvenir mutagens for strength. Right. Yeah. I can't remember the hotkeys for ungrouping. I'll move that later. Poke me on Discord. Remind me to rebucket it afterwards into Reap. Yep. Reaper HP Gober did in fact do a lot for a lot of people. Maybe elite gardening. Right. I remember that. Yeah. Not in strong enough shape to go full farming. Jealous of the people who got a Reaper. How many was it this time? It's not actually 14 because it shows up in some of the comments as well. Reaper got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs found Reaper out of like 30 something, 30 odd wins. So, yeah, not the most common card in the world, but it did definitely do work in our run. And that's also a funny thing on the damage charts of like I've said before, you can't really trust these in general for what they're saying anyway. But like take our run for example, there's a lot of red here, but it really did not matter. Like we were at full or near full HP for a lot of the back half of the game. I remember because we were just like chilling and waiting to reap back up again. Psycho took like 40 or something to book. And we're like, it's time to elite garden. Yeah, there's Psycho on here. Wait. Why does it say Psycho didn't even fight elites in Act 2? Something fucked with that chart? I want pathing. Where's Psycho on here? No, Psycho didn't take elites in Act 2. Interesting. Dodged completely. Emily saying, have the same thought looking at my run's damage. Reaper changes are what those numbers mean. Yeah. I wonder if there's like, if anyone has ideas on better ways to display that info. I am very curious. Maybe like instead of just showing damage taken, showing like final HP after each fight, but then that also like changes for a bunch of other reasons. It's all just, yeah, HP going into the fight minus HP leaving the fight. I could maybe do that. I think that might be a little annoying to calculate with the way that run data is stored, but yeah, let me see about that. Please poke me on Discord as well with that suggestion. Because, yeah, it'd be an interesting one. Both together, paint a clearer picture, would be messy in a spreadsheet. I mean, you could have 2 separate tabs for it and just compare one to the other. I will not rest until this is 500 tabs and takes like 12 hours to load because there's too much data. Baylor's site shows HP by floor. Yeah, I could definitely do HP by floor like that, but it's the HP going into the fight is specifically the awkward part. Yeah, current HP by floor is easy to pull out, but it's the HP like at the beginning of the fight because there's a few awkward things like blood vial interacts with it, and sometimes it's like what happened on a previous floor. I can't remember like how event damage factors in exactly because it doesn't count as like a fight and which is bucketed separately. It's like I don't know. There's a few little awkwardnesses to it. The data definitely exists. It's possible to pull out. I'm just spitting on the best way to do that. Also, welcome, Zach. But yeah. Lots of good stuff in this week. Lots of curse decks, lots of strength going around, whether from curses or Red Skull or wherever else you managed to find it. Only a couple people went small deck this week. Most people just did big piles of good stuff, which when there's this much good stuff going around, I think is completely reasonable. The block stuff, I think for a lot of people came in later. I know it definitely did for our run, like the Not Dork run. We're in the corruption bucket here, but we picked up a late body slam that ended up doing, I think, a surprising amount of work in our run. We didn't get the barricade with it, but, you know, as one does. What else is worth highlighting here? Almost everyone picked the rare relic, which is unsurprising. Snipers and choose a card pickers all won. Very, very high sample size on that one. Definitely worth taking away knowledge on that. A bunch of Act 3 deaths on average. There's no like really disproportionate killer. The double snipe did not work. I remember reading that in someone's forum description. Hi, I'm Act 3 death. Welcome, semicolon. Rip, giant head. Yeah, tie meter I think is the biggest like disproportionate, but like last week we had 1 billion people dying to Gremlin Leader specifically, and I don't see like a ton of that here. It's just sort of getting chipped and worn down a lot of the time happens. And a bunch of also I think people who win runs are a little bit more likely to submit their run history to the sheet, so take all that with a grain of salt. In that sense as well. We talked about boss relics. Let's look at cards. I think this is actually the first week we've had the card sheet breakdown where there hasn't been a non-starter card that every single winning deck has had. And that's just a numbers thing. Like when we have 32 winning runs submitted, then you're going to have like at least a couple people that are missing any given one. But notable standouts, Feel No Pain, super strong. Body Slam, also kind of disproportionately strong of, again, this is one of those of you only really click on it if it's going to be good. So it's like, you know, it's almost always a plus in this column, I feel, because it's just like, if the body slam sucks, you just don't bother. Intimidate is a kind of bit of a surprising large number in the boost column. This is a card that I'm coming around on a lot more as of late. It procs all of Clad's exhaust synergies, of which there are many. Weakness is good. It did come upgraded in Act 3. Book saying body slam win rate is crazy high compared to actual win rate. These spreadsheet make me want to play and submit runs. You don't have to change your handle. You can just like it's your in-game name isn't associated with the runs that you submit. I just manually change it to your Twitch name. So by all means, please play and submit if that sounds fun. Yeah, if you get to Act 3, well, no, there was like not necessarily, right? Like these were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs died before Act 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 runs died in Act 3 or 4. So not quite, Guru. Like it was a tricky Act 2. Change Twitch name and other account names at some point too. Well then, we'll update the Seed of the Week stuff if and when you get to that. There's no need to overthink it, really. It's like this isn't a very formal, official, competitive, anything like that. It's just a try it out, send the file, we'll poke at stuff, and yeah, that's about it. Flintlock saying skipped Intimidate Plus because I had Red Skull and didn't want to draw it. Just wanting to like actively take more damage to proc it. That's interesting. Zach saying took 50 to Donu deck after stomping the rest of the act. Yeah, that can happen. That can indeed happen. Any other interesting cards to look at here? Anger sucks, -3%. No, Anger rocks, and almost everybody picked it on the first couple floors, which was the, yeah, again, 40 of 48 on floor 1. It's an Anger on floor 1, you click. Lonk was saying, no, my deck was about going fast, loads of strength into Whirlwind, can't slow down. Ah, gotcha, you were just doing like thin ones. Stats on the second Anger for pick rate, you mean, is the second one was on floor 4, and I think only 6 people clicked it, but most of those probably had Anger in their deck already from the first reward. So is that only Disarm clicker? Apparently only Disarm purchaser anyway on floor 2. Who was the boss on this one again? Slime boss, yeah. And it's I find early disarm a little bit tricky in a slime boss act. If it was a card reward, I'd probably be more interested in clicking on it. But also, yeah, early shop on Clad always feels a little bit weird to me unless you have gold from Niao. I like it a lot on Silent, but on Clad I kind of just want to like roll things forward and trust in Burning Blood to keep me topped up and then go for a later shop. Which, yeah, that's my 2 cents. I don't know if anyone else in chat has thoughts on shop pathing there, but yeah. Book forced himself into floor 2 shop with Vajra. Start. Chaos saying reasoning for early shop Clad was a super aggro path. That's fair. Wanting to just get a little bit more, make the deck a little bit more solid to make the aggro path viable. And where was the pathing summary thing here? Basically everybody took the 3 elite path in Act 1. I think one person was on a 2 elite Act 1, but pretty much everyone went farming. Yeah. Just pretty much everybody doing 3 rests, 3 elites. Kuro saying was limit testing Anger Vajra that act. As in, like, limit testing is in how much can you greed if you start with an Anger Vajra and then you just make super greedy every other choice, because I think I remember saying that. Yeah, starting with Anger and then into Second Wind, Dark Embrace, Flame Barrier, Pommel, Smith Pommel, lots of digging, early Pact on 3 energy, early Exhume. Yep. Click 1 attack, click every greedy card ever, farm deletes. Yeah. Anger with early strength is stupid. Learning. Zach saying took the shop because it didn't trust the question mark. I believe it wasn't a mandatory question mark though, right? I guess it was, you have to take a question mark in the first couple floors. Either you do it on floor 2 or floor 3, or you take the shop. I guess that's fair. Early event nodes are kind of wonky in Act 1 of, like, what are you going to get? A freaking serpent and then not path into a shop? Or, like, you know, let me pay a bunch of HP to upgrade 2 of my starter cards because I've barely added anything to the deck yet? Or, like... Now, there are some good Act 1 events, but not that many of them. Especially early on. So I can understand that. Yeah, what else is showing up in early Act 1? This is backwards. Why did I... That is 100% backwards, geez. Almost everyone removed a strike. 2 people removing defend here on floor 2. Average damage taken to Slime Boss. 18.5. Or 18.6, rather. Yeah. Some people in max of 56 and a couple zeros on the board. Book had a very high chance of dying to Slimbo. Bookshelf with 26 damage on the board there. I don't know how much HP we're going in with, but no, not the comfiest situation if you get a bad split, especially. Actually, who was it I saw who had to split at, like, I don't remember. Ended up on 2 HP. Oof. 2 is greater than 0, and sometimes that's all you need. I think most people were respecting Slimbo here as well. I think the one person who went in on 15 without resting, yeah, it was Queem, who did not, or was swiftly reminded that you should respect the Slimbo. So yeah. Rest, I could dig. That's true, you could. A lot of people did. At the last fire before Slimbo, only a couple people resting. More smiths than digs, but not by that many. A lot of people just kept the dig train rolling. Dig, dig, dig. Slime Boss was free. Imagine respecting Slimbo. Imagine. Wild. Absolutely wild. Was Baylor one of the heavy bladers? Let's see. Probably. Doesn't look like, actually. Nope. He was not. Often is, but not this time. Was there a dream catcher? There was, yes. And pretty early on, too, looks like. Yeah, Duvo, Puzzle, and then Dreamcatcher. 2 Heavy Blade upgrades before Slimbo. Interesting. Dreamcatcher offered 1 card, which I skipped. Good Relic. I mean, yeah. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Logic for floor 1 Boomer over Anger. Duvudal start applied 3 times. Don't understand what makes Anger so valuable. Well, I mean, for one, Anger isn't random targeting. Is a pretty big one, which, like, in some fights doesn't matter at all. There's plenty of single enemy fights, but, you know, if you're facing down, you know, the sentries or lots of slimes or, you know, the freaking gremlin leader or something in Act 2 where you absolutely need to deal burst damage to specific enemies, Boomer can be pretty awkward. To Chaos's point, Anger helps versus enemies that flood with statuses, which Slime Boss is going to do. Typically, so you're drawing a bunch of Angers instead of just drawing, like, a ton of slimes and then nothing useful. Cost 0, always nice, lets you play out other stuff in your hand that you want to play. And, like, 3 times strength is nice, but it's also, like, when you're still down at 1 strength or something, that's +2 damage when you play the card, right? People make fun of the boot because it does very little, but that's, like, you know, kind of that tier of a small amount of sometimes extra damage situationally. Sometimes doesn't matter if it, like, even hits the wrong target. Clad off and exhaust down other stuff, so you get back to, yeah, you can end up cycling and playing Angers quite a bit. Boost Bash as a starter, it can. I mean, that's true of any physical damage add, but the 0 cost nature of it does definitely help. Being able to bash into Anger and then still block or something is nice. Yeah, so good card. Good card for sure. What else is... jeez. What else is interesting about the early ones? Also, just usual, toss that out in case anybody wants to follow along on their own instead of just squinting at me, scrolling around. How many people took Act 1 Limit Break? Well, we had 2 people pick it up on floor 6, another one on floor 7, 1 more on floor 10, 7 more on 12, and then this is upgrading it. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 limit breaks clicked in Act 1 on this seed. off of just Duvu. That I don't know a good way to tell, because you may have had, like, other stuff, like there were some, In Flames in there. I can't remember how early the... people wouldn't have had the Red Skull in Act 1, I don't believe. Even if you're digging, I think that's like early Act 2 kind of thing. Hey, Braun, welcome to Stats. I would got from Lagavulin for Red Skull. Had Red Skull Act 1, but Dig and Dead Adventurer. Right. I forgot Dead Adventurer was a thing. Yep, that makes sense. So yeah, some people definitely could have had it early on and had extra sources of strength to double. I think Psycho may have been the only one to click double, double limit break with only the one base strength. Upgrading limit break that early seems a bit sus unless they had literally no other damage source. Yeah, limit break upgrade just in general feels a little bit awkward to me sometimes, because I feel like if you're at the point of I want to click on a limit break, you probably have a decent amount of consistent strength in the first place, because if it's either small or situational, then the limit break pickup is pretty greedy. And if you have consistent strength and you double it once, a lot of the time you kind of just want to draw back into your damage cards instead of drawing into the limit break again. Like, you want to use the strength that you already have. And if your strength is super low and inconsistent, you kind of want the slimed to go away, right? So I mostly only upgrade limit break these days when I need it as like a longer fight scaling solve, like into champ absolutely is a good example of that, or into boss gauntlet late game, or if you have like some kind of funny recursion shenanigans going on with like headbutts or what have you, and trying to scale up quickly. Curious to hear other people's thoughts on when they upgrade limit break. Also, yeah, Exhume is a pseudo limit break upgrade as well. Deep Breath could be another way to get some of that cycling in. What's everybody else saying? So Exhume, never saw it. Yeah, wanted to have it exhaust so you can exhume it instead of needing to reshuffle. Yeah, Act 2 boss fight is sort of a nice threshold. 4 bosses, 4 longer fights. Only upgrade limit break if you can play it multiple times per turn. Interesting. Yeah, some decks can absolutely pull that off. I don't know if the pieces were really there in this run for that. Don't pick limit break, so don't have to think about upgrading it. That's another way around it. Certainly another way around it. Yeah. If anyone in chat was on the limit break upgrade train, feel free to chime in for either your logic for upgrading it or just how you felt it played or didn't play during your run. Limit break Vajra, demon form at home. True. Just spread the 3 cost out over multiple turns. Pretty at home, given the fact that you have to redraw it every time, but you can make Stranger Things work if you try hard enough. What else is interesting around here? I don't know. Nothing super jumping out at me immediately. Limit break upgrade, just Rampage. Oof. Now there's a thought. There's a thought. Yeah. If anybody else is seeing interesting stuff to highlight on this sheet, either here or by skimming it on your own, please do point things out. Emily's saying got to use dual wield on Body Slam Plus. One of my favorite things. Hell yeah. Got the big block deck going by endgame. Yeah. It's interesting, again, like when we talked about this a little bit earlier for the groupings that Boot put together here, of like some absolutely you could say this was a pretty blockety block deck. Could get data on here from the Relic Stats mod. There is some Relic Stats data in here. For example, the Blue Keys tab is Run History Plus data as well. Actually, Relic Stats, sorry. Yeah, I could try parsing some of that out for future weeks. Just see like how much did each person's, like you had this relic, how much did it do for, this person, that person, the other person. Yeah. Poke me on Discord. I will take a look. Cringe Kiers 0. It's true. I am a cringe shovel Kier, and I got 0 digs. RNG Fix is the only mod that's mandatory. If you want recommendations for good mods, Run History Plus and Relic Stats are some nice bits of extra information. Some of that gets pulled and shows up in these sheets. And then there's just like general nice mods to have of, I would recommend Run Resumer as a nice way to kind of go back and double check certain things of like, oh, what if I had tried, this path or that path, or, if I upgraded here after the fact, you can kind of like go back and forth. How many died to the NOBMOGUS on the NOBMOGUS seed? 0, actually. Everyone got out of Act 1 on this one. Everyone got to the Act 1 boss at least on this one. And yeah, don't worry, I don't get overwhelmed. None of these are promises. I have like a big ass list of ideas that when I'm in the mood to tinker with the sheet, I just kind of pull from that as idea fodder. So none of this comes with any promises. And if anybody else ever wants to tinker with it as well and write some scripts, let me know. I'm happy to add you as a collaborator. NOBMOGUS got voted out, was an imposter, indeed. But, he did show up in Act 2 for people who farmed enough events, because there was thwack on this seed. Remember, Wet and I actually run resumed it back because we were at the end trying to decide, do we want to farm an extra elite or farm an extra event at the end of the act? Decided on the elite and then went back and resumed it, and it would have been thwack if we took the event path instead. This close to greatness. But yes, he did show up twice in his signature seed, so there is that. Thwack. Indeed. We talked obviously about the shovel keys. If you didn't key shovel, a bunch of people in Act 2 actually with a decent variety of keys here. Periapt makes a lot of sense. Blood Vial is, a little marginal. To join in on these runs, how significantly worse players end up doing. Honestly, I would encourage it. If you are at all interested, I would have killed for something like this on my first Ascension climb, just to be able to, compare myself against, super strong players and see, floor by floor where some of my blind spots would be. Completely wide blasted the knob. Good. I mean, when it's a forced key on floor 43, you key whatever you got to at that point. But yeah, in Act 2, these are the sort of keys that you have to pay off the red mask gang and go on to win was an interesting one, yeah. Eternal Feather is one that jumps out to me here is that's a good amount of sustain. In my mind of exclamation, if you're in chat and have thoughts on why you felt like that was key worthy, I would be interested to hear them. But yeah, where's the events tab? Maybe. Let me check. Yeah. X. It doesn't look like it, no. No Reaper. Bites. That makes sense. Did submit NOBMOGUS bun, but if you're interested, I could try to dig out the file. Feel free if you like, but I do store all of the run files, even if they're submitted late, but I can't keep these sheets live updating, unfortunately. There's some tabs where I do end up, organizing the data separately and doing some manual cleanup at the end, and I can't just do the, one-click auto-import to add last-minute run data. So you're welcome to submit it, and then if anyone else wants to do future parsing on it or the main sheet, you can always make a copy of that and then go back and fill it out, do the automated parsing of all data. So it's still accessible is the point, but don't feel pressured to dig it up because it's not really going anywhere super obvious at this point. So yeah, I can see keying Feather with bites in the deck if the bites were already doing good work. What other events are notable here? Almost everybody removing Strike here. Only a couple people, Dazed Lurker and Germani, removing Defend, which interesting early remove on Clad. I can kind of see it into into an aggro path, but yeah, not something I normally consider early on. Match and keep. Most of us did not match. A couple people got shrug and uppercut. Dazed and Hermione not take anger, I wonder. Let's find out. Where's the choices detail? Dazed had the early anger into... oh, it just says card removal there. But yeah, found from the other tab that was the defend. And Hermione also had the floor 1 anger. So... not trusting in the anger enough, I suppose. Defends only block 3 versus Limbo, yeah. Removing strike after adding anger, yeah. And that was true for a lot of us. But they won the run, so it was obviously an objectively correct decision. That's how that works. Match keep, a couple... Why did Psycho show up twice in here? Technology is garbage. Psycho got both of those. Remember Baylor, seeing the match on something else that he wanted. I think it was like an Inflame or something, and then intentionally choosing to not click it and come back for it later and keep fishing for other stuff. Got the demon form that way. It's kind of interesting. Magnil intentionally matching the injury to go curse maxing on his run. I think he ended up with 6 curses or something by the end. Pretty wild. Early brutality. Nice. Only one person taking the bites and winning, so Hermione, congrats on that one. A lot of people ignoring it. Various reasons. I guess it depends how much sustain is already in the deck by then. Lower max HP on Clad can be a little funky sometimes. I don't know. Bites are bad. Learning. Interestingly balanced on the back to basics on this one. I feel like a lot of the time the simplicity is kind of more of a click chaosing. Didn't keep Blood Vial Act 2 because of Juzu into potential fights, and then saw Feather and had to key Sundial. Oof. Yep. That'll happen. That'll happen sometimes. Yeah. Almost everyone fighting on Mind Bloom. A couple people taking the gold. Magnil taking the heal specifically for the doubt because he was on too late of a floor for the 999, and again, curse maxing build. Pride One made some interesting decisions that run. If there's anything you want to highlight, by all means. Most of us, again, choosing Memory 3. A couple people on Memory 1. Ysengrin in the middle bucket. I never really click the middle bucket on this one. What did people take from Sensory Stone? I don't know if there's a great way to pull that one out. I remember that the Not Dork Sensory Stone was pretty trash. We got a what's it called? Panic button, and that's it. The other 2 rewards were pretty garbage. But some people found some really good stuff. I mean, it's basically the colorless cards that you see in here that most of those came from Sensory. Yeah, some people are getting Apo and, Master of Strat and just, yeah, good shit in general. We saw it too early in the act. Rare card chance was still Garbo, so unfortunate. Look at all those anger, rip. Saluting a real one after all it's done for you in the first 2 acts. Oh, excuse me. Chaos got deep breath. Happy with that. Didn't we only draft 1 card in Act 3? I think we got a couple, but really not many. So there's a mid. There's key. So here is the Act 3. Plenty of skips. We got Exhume. I guess you don't count the headbutt as a draft because that's a purchase. If you count that as a draft, maybe. So yeah, I guess we only drafted the Exhume from normal card rewards. What you gonna do? And this was the mid-act chest, I believe. I still don't have those on the detail breakdown sheet yet. Flunxang had the smallest winning deck, but got put in the Strength Plum group. Groups are fuzzy lines. I can move you around afterwards if you want. Was your deck like infinite or infinish by the end of it, do you feel? Like cycling just a lot? I remember you saying that that's why you skipped the Intimidate earlier, because you just didn't want to be slowed down on the cycle train. And yeah, it's not really jumping ahead. Like I always jump around like a crazy person in these, but yeah, 26 cards. Pretty small, up to 40, pretty reasonable. Ironclad Act 3 card rewards moment. Definitely not the first time that that's happened. It probably won't be the last. What else is on here that's interesting scam? Who won with 17 relics? Lowest number. Nalay. 17 relics and 28 cards, so near the bottom of that end as well. I don't think Nalay had comments on their run. Yeah, no comments on the form, but this was the deck. For what it's worth. Got bucketed into Strength Blom. Only the one added curse, but spot weakness, demon form. Had the corruption things. Not infinite, but playing whirlwind in hallways and exhausting town to power through second wind in boss fights. Fair. Yeah, I would call that small deck nonsense. For sure. Yeah, maybe just skim these. Million relics in Act 1, a mid. Yep. 6 curses, limit break with also the red skull. Borrowing anger. 4 tries to beat the heart. Oh. Early Dark Embrace, which I think, yeah, a lot of people took the early Dark Embrace, not necessarily floor 1, but floor 3, before it's really doing all that much for you. Or floor 4, yeah. Floor 4, 24 Embrace pickers here. We were one of them, and I still do think that was correct. It played later on. Good to see Z Calvin's. Yeah, it's a good card. If you are starting with Anger Vajra, you can afford to click on good cards that aren't doing all that much for you in the immediate term. Are you getting tagged? Because you're here, and sometimes that's enough. It's the Spire community. Welcome. After watching your VOD, you had a turn versus the heart where you would have died if you hadn't cleared hand space and drawn exactly power through plus. Blocked 20 and lived on 17. Had a similar turn in my heart fight. Oh, nice. Well, just draw the good cards. Just draw the cards that you need to draw. Learning experiences. Oh, gosh. Duping Entrench instead of App is interesting on this one. Who's this ghosty boy? Triple Flash of Steel becoming infinite. Nice. Misplayed a bit. Big numbers. Yep. 24 max from Periapt of the Gods. You were 4 and 5 to draw it. Also a turn versus Slime Boss. Could have bricked and died. Yeah. And I think that goes back to the thing I started this off by saying of like, this is a seed that had a lot of strong pieces to it, but it wasn't just a free seed nonetheless. There was a legitimate amount of risk to this one, despite all of the good stuff that the Spire was throwing at you. You really did have to pilot it well. So kudos to everyone who was successful in that vein. Interesting. Trading Evolve plus to Bonfire Spirits because of a mid, and in hindsight going, nah, I wish that I still had it later in the run. Kind of interesting. Ironclad sucks at draw moment. As many relics as possible and then died to Handclog after Black Star. Yeah. That'll happen. That'll happen sometimes. Energy is good, especially on the Ironclad character, especially with the Pyramid. Manuel saying, in retrospect, my deck was kind of sus if I bricked hard in Act 4 with all those curses. Yeah, 6 is many. Just draw well. It's easy. Curse decks never draw badly. It has never happened. Just find good cards moment. Looking to exhaust everything. Played towards assembling a Dropkick Infinite. Misplayed in the heart. Yeah, fair. That'll happen. I think it had Swift and Brew going into Act 4 fights, which could also save help. Yep, true. Potions are good. What's the Silent Seed? Slice and Dice, because the Silent has Slice, and she also has Dice with Die 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 and with Calculated Gamble, so it's just, you know, no other reason, just that. Yeah, I got here lots of snowballing with the Pyramid, shenanigans, etc. A bit slow, crazy strong once up and running. Slice and Die. Silent Seed did just start. Yeah, it was posted 5 hours ago. They are posted at the same time every week. If you want to get pings when they're up, then you can join my Discord. I have opt-in reaction rolls, character by character, to get pinged when new seeds are posted. And there's also discussion, very lively discussion channels. Oh, you're in the waiting room? Okay, I'll get you in after stream. But yeah, very lively discussion channels for each seed as well to talk about those once you finish playing them. Yeah. Seed has some very strong things, but doesn't save you if you misplay. Yep. Just chat so lively you had to mute it. Understandable. Yeah, even just the main Spire chat kind of goes these days. It's good. There's always people around who are willing to talk about runs or thoughts on random nonsense. It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, just that Discord was so quiet before I started Seed of the Week stuff, and I'm still not entirely used to just how much it's 180'd. Like, I wake up now every morning to several hundred unread messages while I was asleep, and it's like, okay, time to back read again while I'm having my coffee. It's fun. Save Scum and Died to Heart. Yeah. Stinky Duvu doll. Who called the Duvu stinky? Dedalence? Damn it, man. That's not stinky. That is a Vajra. Anger Vajra is good. Had some decent strength. The beginnings of a good exhaust plan. Getting owned by birds. Yeah. The tilt will happen. Banned. Understandable. Vajra from Whale is worth 7 max HP. Learning. First Seed of the Week, find the concept really fun. Hell yeah. Definitely play the Silent Run later this week. Awesome. Well, good luck to you when you get around to it. I'm also doing it later this week. Normally our Not Dork runs are today on Mondays after this stream a bit, but this week just IRL stuff getting in the way, so we're gonna have to postpone ours until Thursday. So Thursday at noon EST for Not Dork, and I will be doing my best to dodge spoilers until then. Actually watch our run. Holy, it's amazing. Yeah, lots of good stuff. I don't know why this linked the entire thing, but whatever. Can't unless I somehow magic time earlier. AM, not PM? Damn. Scam. What are you gonna do? I'll be playing a little bit after us. Very cool. Alright. Well, maybe, HTTP, Palm Strike from Diablo's Crazy Potion Luck Enabled Greedy Act 1 Picks of.com. Technology is garbage. Unique run, limit break, spot weakness for big scaling. Just awkward draws, yeah. That is a thing, I guess, of like, with Clad Draw, if Embrace is your main draw engine, and you don't have like you don't have it bottled or you don't have other ways to draw into it more quickly, it does end up being pretty damn draw order dependent, and it can be slow to get going sometimes, and just one or two bad fights where you get owned by that without potion support to bail you out can be rough. Where does the Ironclad character find card draw? Does anybody know? Is it even possible? Centennial Puzzle MVP. Puzzle with Bloodletting is a fun combo. Especially, I know a bunch of people use that as their logic for clicking in Act 1. Just click Burning Pact until you die in Act 2. There you go. And I love Pact, though. It's such a freaking good card. Never dies in Act 2. Just don't whiff on energy. Can we somehow check win weight for the Act 1 Embrace? I mean, was there later than Act 1 Embrace, or do you mean the floor 1 Embrace specifically? Because overall, these were Embrace stats. 69%, nice, of winning decks included a Dark Embrace, and of people who clicked on Dark Embrace, 73% won, which is a bit more than average. That includes, like, all Dark Embraces picked at any point in the run, but I think they were only offered in Act 1, maybe, or at least most people took them in Act 1 at the very least. Bloodletting was great until Falling took it from me. Damn. No, Falling is a bitch sometimes. 73, nice. Nice. Good numbers. Evolve Owning, it is card draw on the Ironclad character. Fiendfire is good, who knew? Exhume is good when you have a shit ton of useful things to exhume with it. And also speculative exhume as well, just like when the run is strong enough to take it, you just kind of take it, because there are so many good things to exhume that the Clad can find at some point, and if you carry it long enough, you'll probably pull out at least one of them. Huntlock had all 4. Hell yeah. Gotta catch 'em all. You are a nice player. The Spire community is so nice. It's true. Reaper is a good card. Things that you learn from Seed of the Week. If you find the Reaper card, it is literally impossible to lose. Look at that big 0. Impossible. Doubt, owns, etc. What sucks the most here? Bites suck. Discovery, terrible. Never click this card. Fire Breathing, bad. I mean, when were people even clicking Fire Breathing? When did that show up? Oh, it was probably Transform. That makes more sense. Because, yeah, it was never actively clicked on. Disappointed in other Deep Breath pickers? Unlucky. Unlucky. Oh, what you gonna do? Yeah, it's tough to read. Obviously, it's tough to read too much into the one super low down on the chart unless high sample size. Metallicize not especially performing well this seed at the very least. Which, yeah. Sentinel is an interesting one. There were a lot of good exhaust stuff that was going on of, like, you know, Dark Embrace Second Wind with Sentinel. You kind of think that slots in very well. You get energy, you get more cards back that are drawn by the Embrace, and then you can spend that energy on more good stuff, but in reality just not Metallicize. Yeah, that sounds right against Flame Barrier. And how did the Flame Barrier end up doing? Flame Barrier was in the nice bucket. Yeah. Gotta sleep. Well, have a good night, Flintlock. Thanks for poking your head in. Corruption below average. Yeah, not by much, but yeah, it's I think we were talking about it a little bit earlier with Wet and I. It was very much just a hallway card in our run. It didn't become like a run defining card the way that a lot of corruption runs end up feeling. So with these losses, it's possible that people tried a little bit too hard to build around it, maybe. I'm not sure. That's complete speculation. Linosaurus saying, surprised with the low number of people picking card reward from Niao given the aggressive path. I typically find card reward to be like a relatively low value Niao option, personally. Chaos Sang sought versus Reaper, so took Reaper. Felt like a weak corruption despite a mid. Yeah. If it was up against Reaper for me, it would have been a clear Reaper click as well. I forget what it was up against for us, but Reaper was not one of them. Free Rare Relic is very good. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Rare Relics have just like a ton of output as well. With, you know, 1 extra card reward, it's advancing your rare card chance a bit. It's, you know, like a little bit extra. You don't know if you'd take Reaper over Corruption with our deck into Act 1? Oh, we did already have the Embrace by then. That's true. That's true. And, you know, we could have whiffed on energy easily with the Reaper. We didn't have the Red Skull yet. So yeah, it might have still been Corruption in that spot just to get through Act 2. Because Act 2 itself was rough. Like, the deck took a little while to come together. But yeah, sorry, going back to the card reward at Niao here. Is it sort of like it's a better than skip almost Niao option in my mind, of like, it gives you a little something, it advances the card pool of like the rare card chance a little bit. But in my mind, it's in a similar bucket to like, you know, 3 potions of just like a little bit of front loaded value that isn't dramatically changing things and making you like able to take on a much more aggressive path than you otherwise would be. Like, potions are actually better in that sense, because if you high roll your potions, then you can be like, okay, sweet, I'm actually pretty set now. I can take on this insane path, versus, you know, with, you can't like get a super high roll rare card from a choose a card reward. You can get a good one, but not an insane one. And it's just sort of a nice, like, minor boost that doesn't dramatically change things. Whereas a rare relic, like, yeah, there are whiffs. You could get like freaking calipers that's not doing anything for you until later game, and then you're kind of sad. But there's a lot of very good hits as well that can open up much more aggressive pathing. And I forget what the downside on it was, but I don't remember it being particularly bad. So, yeah. Offering 2 out of 5? Is that the... Yeah, 2 out of 5. 2 wins, 3 losses. Offering sucks, confirmed. I think that might also be a what was it up against kind of question of if you're picking offering over something with, you know, direct output that's helping you much more clearly. Emily saying, pick a card is usually, I desperately need front load for this run start and no other choice helps. Yeah. Yep. Of like, if it's up against like max HP or money, but the only shop is like far away, something like that, I could see it. Offering puzzle anti-synergy with overdraw. True. Unlucky. Yeah. Awkwardness if you greeted the bloodletting earlier. Yeah. I don't know if the bloodletting even counts as greed really if you had the puzzle by then. Because, like, bloodletting into a puzzle proc is just a really nice way to start off a turn. Assuming you are able to actually proc puzzle on the same turn that you play the offering, of course, but, you know. Yeah. I don't know how much more there is worth discussing about this one. If anybody else has interesting stats or questions or run picks or what have you. Real greed pick on that screen was packed. Yeah, it was a little greedy for sure. Can't remember my logic for it. I'm pretty sure we took the pack there, but what's saying after Imagine, rare relics on average make you stronger versus choose a card on 3 elite paths. Yeah. Black Star pickers in shambles. Mostly. I mean, not really, but yeah, not the best performing option out of the available boss relics. All right, I will leave you guys with this for now. Again, There's the sheet if you want to poke at it yourself, while I go and grab the cat for chaos. BRB. Let me switch to full cam as well, and okay. The mic that kind of, oh wait, no, I don't have to do that anymore. What am I doing? I'm used to switching to my my shitty webcam mic because my old mic used to be part of the headset. I'm like, I don't want to wrestle that back on, but I don't have to anymore. All right, BRB. Hello. I have a cat. She is sleepy. Cat, please look at the screen. You have fans. You have adoring fans. They want to say hello. B. She's purring. You probably can't hear, but trust me. You can? Good. Spinning again. Okay. Want to climb all the way up again. Once again, cat, I am sorry that my neck is in the way. There is a limit to how high you can climb. I don't know why she does this switching sides thing. I do not understand. Just smushing her face against my face. I must obtain all of the allergens because I am allergic to her, but she is a good baby, so she's worth it. Yes. Switching sides again. Okay. Here we go. Hey. He's really sleepy today. Cats are pretty baller indeed. He's sick, nasty, complimentary. True. She likes head smacks, by the way. I still don't understand why. But she likes it. See, if I start slowly, she starts leaning her head into it. Of like, yep, please keep going. Okay. Oh, we're going up now. Okay, we're really going up. Doing the hug around the neck thing with one arm around each side of the neck. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. I think that is probably going to be it for a kitty break. Normally I wait until she starts getting antsy, but if I wait too much longer, I'm going to start getting breathing is hard because she is extra cuddly today. So I will leave you with the Yelly Bean video as usual, and then BRB.
Are you done?
Yeah, you can tell she was extra sleepy today because she wasn't even yelling, like, at all. She was just purring and flomping. But yeah, unless anyone has any last minute thoughts or questions or what have you about the run, I think that's going to be it for today's recap stream. Thanks to everyone who hung out. I'll give you guys a minute to give your closing thoughts while I look for someone to raid. Alright, looks like Chegg is on and Knave is on. Hell yeah, Gabs. Good luck with it when you get to it. Who of those did we... Found you from the song parodies. Hell yeah. Well, welcome from YouTube. Enjoy how esoteric they are. I will take that as a hell of a compliment. Yeah, I honestly, I did not expect them to start getting actual attention on YouTube. The first time someone commented who I didn't already know from Twitch, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Need to wrap up my latest one. It's close to done. I'm just doing the thing I always do where I twig it to death, even though it's already fine and nobody cares, but that's how life goes. Let's go say hi to Chegg today, I believe. People song request them on other streams. That's true. Yeah, I've definitely seen them on Papa's stream a good few times. Okay. I have to wait for ads because technology is garbage, but let's click that button. We'll go say hi to Chegg. Thank you guys again for hanging out. Reminder that the Not Dork Seed of the Week stream for Silent this week is not at the usual time tonight. It will be on Thursday at noon EST. So if you want to tune in for that, by all means. Hopefully I will see at least some of you then. And in the meantime, take care and best of luck on your own Seed of the Week runs if you still need to do them. Bye.